When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? Yeah. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? I can't stop now. I got too many miles to go. I'm just an old hard rocker, running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker, wondering what's taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I'll sing my song. Just an old hard rocker, running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker, wonder what is taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I sing my song. On my trail, I'm gonna run you down. Don't you know that I'm on your tail? Make those mountains fall, as long as my feet don't fail. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? Yeah. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? I can't stop now. I got too many miles to go. I'm just an old hard rocker, running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker, wondering what's taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I'll sing my song. Just an old hard rocker, running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker, wondering what is taking so long. When the sun goes down, That's when I sing my song. Gonna run you down, don't you know that you're on my trail? I'm gonna run you down, don't you know that I'm on your tail? Make those mountains fall, as long as my feet don't fail. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? Yeah. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? I can't stop now. I got too many miles to go. I'm just an old hard rocker, running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker, wondering what's taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I'll sing my song. Just an old hard rocker, running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker, wondering what's taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I sing my song. Know that you're on my trail. I'm gonna run you down, don't you know that I'm on your tail? Make those mountains fall, as long as my feet don't fail. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? Yeah. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? I can't stop now. got too many miles to go. I'm just an old hard rocker running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker. Wonder what's it taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I sing my song. Just an old hard rocker running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker. Wonder what's taking so long. When the sun goes down, that's when I sing my song. On my trail, I'm gonna run you down. Don't you know that I'm on your tail? Make those mountains fall, as long as my feet don't fail. When it gets so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? Yeah. When I get so high, then why my heart is feeling so low? I can't stop now. I got too many miles to go. I'm just an old hard rocker running from the dusk till dawn. Yeah, I'm just a midnight walker. Wonder what's it taking so long. When the sun goes down.
Hey, whoop. It's not a true live stream if there isn't a false start. I'm going to assume we are live. I'm Chris Twiggs, 16-time Hard Rock finisher, Hard Rock board member, and guy who is really, really excited to be here to talk about what to expect when you get to Hard Rock. We're going to be talking to some experts on the race itself. We're going to be talking to some experts on the areas that Hard Rock passes through, and we're going to be taking questions. So if you have a question about what to expect, maybe you are a Hard Rocker for the first time this summer, or maybe you are crewing a Hard Rocker, or maybe you just have heard about this thing and you want to come out and you want to be a part of it somehow, some way, but you've got questions, put those questions, please, in the chat on the YouTube live stream, and we will take those questions and answer all of them as long as they are not too terribly personal. If you have personal questions about Run Director Dale Garland, email me and I'll tell you all the dirt on Dale. Let us start by just going around the room and having each of our panelists introduce yourself and tell us what your role is, and so we can kind of get an idea of what people might ask you specifically questions about. We'll start, since we've got a room full of women, we're going to start with the man. So Bill, why don't you start off?
Hey everybody, this is Bill Shum. I am the aid station captain at Chapman, which is mile 18 this year in this direction. I'm also picking up the added duty of volunteer coordinator. So if you have any questions about volunteer stuff, you can send them my way as well. Thanks.
Awesome. I don't know if you see the people in the same order that I do, but I see directly below Bill on my screen, I see Julie.
Hi, everyone. Julie Blanda. I am the aid station director at Animas Forks. It's my 7th year as a volunteer and my 4th as aid station captain there. And I think that we're 57.9 since Bill threw that out this year. But I'm really excited and look forward to seeing everybody come through our aid station this year.
Fantastic, fantastic. Next on the screen, I see Kim.
Hi, my name is Kim Linder. I'm the aid station captain for Pole Creek. We are at mile 80 this year, and always a great time to be at mile 80 right before we're sending everybody home. So we're real excited and I hope to answer all your questions.
You like how I got them in the order that they're going to show up in the race? Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Next, we have. I can't read my own writing. Gail, Kaylee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylee Roten, and I am with Visit Ouray. I'm the Tourism and Destination Marketing Director for the city. And we look forward to seeing all the runners come every year. And it's an exciting moment. And a lot of the tourists like, what is happening? Tell them, oh, it's Hard Rock 100. And they are blown away that that is even a sport. So congrats and kudos to everyone who actually competes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Diane.
Deanne.
Deanne. I'm sorry, Deanne. My fault. I won't do it again. That is a really good goal. I like that a lot. And I think we will do our level best to make sure that that is the case. And I tell you what, let's just start with you if we can, since you are there in Silverton. As we show up there in the days ahead of Silverton, what should we know? What is the thing that you want people coming to Silverton to know about Silverton, Colorado? I'm gonna ask you to pause for just a second. We're getting word from the YouTube chat that they're not hearing you for some reason. I hear you just fine, and so I wanted to stop you before I was gonna make you repeat too very much. Dan, who is our amazing behind the scenes tech guy, is going to get on that and try to figure out why we're not able to hear Deanne. But I'm guessing that they were able to hear Bill just fine. I think it's just Deanne, and I'm looking for. This is embarrassing. I'm looking for confirmation. If somebody that's watching in the chat can just tell me if you can hear me, so at least we know that we have some audio coming out. Okay. Okay. All right. So Dan says that they're working on it. Let's hop around just a tiny bit. Dan, we're going to get back to you once we know that we've got your audio. Thank you so much. Appreciate your patience. And let's just jump over Red Mountain Pass and ask Kaylee to talk a little bit about Ouray, Colorado, and what can people expect when they pull into town there if they happen to be coming from the Montrose direction.
Absolutely. We, like Deanne had mentioned, we're just super fortunate to be able to have the Hardrock family come through. We may not be base camp for the start finish, but to be even considered as the halfway mark where that you're almost there. I'd like to say all downhill from there, but it's not, unfortunately. But the community in Ouray truly supports and looks forward to this event every year. And one thing that we want people to know is that if you do have a support person, family, crew members that are looking for things to do to keep them occupied when you're going checkpoint to checkpoint, is maybe taking a day in Ouray. A lot of the businesses actually look forward to hosting more of a, hey, last year we had a pottery class that was just for supporters, and it was runner based themed pottery lessons, which was really neat. So they really try to cater to the runner community, which I think is unique about the area. And naturally we have the hot springs there too, so not that the runners get to enjoy that until after or maybe before the race, but it's something where supporters and your crew members are able to utilize Ouray as a little bit of a base camp for them while they're waiting for the runner to come through.
Oh yeah, I really do want to put a plug in for Sunday afternoon at the Ouray Hot Springs pool. That is my favorite thing to do after finishing Hardrock or supporting it, volunteering, being out there, soaking in that hot springs pool, catching the eye of people that you recognized out there on the course, telling stories. It's a great place to sit and relax, and don't have to work so hard to work up a sweat in that pool either. We've got Deanne back. I'm guessing that we can hear her now. I'm hoping. Let's give it a try. Oh,
I can test it. Can you hear me
Deanne
now?
says not yet. Okay, Deanne, let's have you try. Oh, now Deanne's not visible. Did we lose her again? This is live, guys. This is absolutely live. She's visible on the YouTube channel. She's invisible to me. We're hoping we can hear her. It's Deanne. Tell us all about Silverton, if you would.
So can you hear me? Can they hear me on YouTube?
I hear you. Dan says they can hear you too. They hear you. They hear. By the way, Dave Fiddler made the comment that he was really surprised he couldn't hear you because you live right across the street.
Oh, great. That's a great comment, Fid. Yep. Well, what I had said previously is that I really, first and foremost, we're very thankful to be base camp for the Hardrock 100. We absolutely love our Hardrockers. We have plenty of Hardrockers who actually live here today, and we're just training, get the luxury of training year round. But number one thing I really want to express is secure your lodging. Because we're base camp, your family and your crew tend to be more Silverton centric. So whether that is camping, Airbnbs, getting a bunk room at the Avon or the Wyman, hotels, July is really the tsunami of our summer season. And so first thing I would do is secure your lodging plans. Secondly, just realize that Silverton is a community. You know, although we are a tourism economy, we really are a town, right? And Hardrock really becomes embedded as part of our town. So because it is based around the school and the post office and within a neighborhood, just be incredibly mindful of that you are assimilating into a community where people actually live and work and play. That being said, we don't hear too many things, right? But just to kind of plant that seed with everyone that, Silverton is a community first and a Hardrock base camp second. So when you're coming up here, it's just knowing that you're coming into our community. We're very thankful for you. We absolutely love the vibe and the energy that it brings. We have hard rockers, again, like I said, who live here, hard rockers who move here a month in advance to train, or folks who just show up at the race. So just understanding that we are a small community. Although we do have amenities like hardware store, a San Juan Expedition for gear, the grocery store, we are not the big city. So if you have very specific nutrition needs or things that you need to get yourself through the Hard Rock week, just be mindful that we are a small community. We do have basic amenities, but we are just a little Whoville of about 800. Hard Rock family doubles our population, right? And so we just want to make sure that everyone is set up for success.
Well said. Well said. And I'll also say that I'm really excited to be a part of that community in Silverton in the summer. And I think all Hard Rockers have a real. I said earlier that Ouray is my favorite place in the world, and that's true. But Silverton's got to be second, right? Silverton's got to be second. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much. We've got some questions coming in, and we're going to get to those as well. But I want to make sure that we get a chance to go around to all of our panelists. So we're going to leave Silverton on our way to Ouray this year, and one of the first stop we're going to get is going to be Chapman Gulch. So Bill, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So once again, this is Bill Shum, aid station captain at Chapman, which is mile 18. That's also noteworthy because it's the first opportunity for you to see crew if you want to. Some people don't have their crew go there just because it's a long drive and there's a little bit of a hike for crew members. They have to park in the town of Ophir, and it's about a 2-mile one-way hike, so a 4-mile round trip. So some people don't have crew go there, but they can if they'd like to. Now, the fallback is the drop bags. We will have drop bags there, and we treat those very seriously because we know you need them. So if you don't want to have crew go there, that's fine. You'll have a drop bag there, and we have plenty of volunteers there. We're going to give you first-class service. We'll help you put on dry shoes if you want to put on dry shoes. Your feet are going to get wet getting into KT. They're going to get wet going up by Island Lake. So if you wanted to put on dry shoes there, we'll help you there. We'll feed you. There'll be plenty of food. But I would encourage your crew members to go there if they're game for it. It is a little bit of a hike in, but to be honest, that gives them a little bit of a flavor of what Hard Rock's all about. It's not a hard hike. It's relatively flat. It's on a Forest Service road. And then they can get there. We'll take care of them there. We'll have shade for them. If they're too much in the sun, we'll have extra water, maybe a little extra food here and there, depending on if they're a nice crew or not nice crew. We'll see. But I would encourage them to consider coming up to Chapman. And it is an easy commute for them when they leave Chapman to get over to Telluride. Once they get back down to their car, it's a really quick, like 15-minute drive. They will beat you to Telluride. I guarantee you that. Because when you leave Chapman, you've got about 10 miles and a 3,000-foot climb up to Oscars Pass. So, that's my pitch to have your crew come out to Chapman. It is a really gorgeous spot. Plenty of picture-taking opportunities out there. But regardless, we're definitely going to take care of you out there. And the one thing I will say in conclusion is when you're leaving Chapman, go out full. It's going to be midday for most of you. It's very exposed up to Oscars. It's going to be warm, most likely, or hailing, one or the other. So either way, go out full with water, food, everything that you need. And that's about it as far as the highlights at Chapman, Chris.
Awesome. Is there anything that is different that the runners should expect about Chapman in this direction versus the other direction?
Not well, yeah, for sure. If they're going the other direction, it's a completely different atmosphere. The other direction, we're open for 24 hours and people are all crashed out and it's hot, it's cold. This direction, like I said, it's going to be, for most runners, it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's just like a 4-hour window that most runners are going to be getting there. The runners, you're going to have people around you coming down Grant Swamp Pass. You're going to have plenty of people. Like at the busy times, we'll have up to 30 runners at Chapman at any one time. So yeah, I think in that sense, Chris, it's a little bit different in this direction at mile 18. It's not, I would not use the word congestion at all. we've got plenty of volunteers. You're going to get personal service. But it will be, hey, where's my drop bag? Do I need to change my shoes? Make sure you're filling up. We're going to have a brunch there, so there'll be food options other than just sugar. So something to think about and consider when you're planning your race strategy is, you can have we will have solid food for you at Chapman. And we'll announce that menu when we get a little bit closer, but something to put in the race strategy.
Fantastic. One of the questions that came in had to do with what aid stations require four-wheel drive to get to. Now, Chapman, there is a four-wheel option to get there some years. I think it was even open last year, but it was pretty close to the race pretty close to the run when we finally knew that we were going to be able to use that pass. You recommend most people drive all the way around through Telluride to get there?
So the shortcut is to go, when you leave Silverton, is to go over Ophir Pass, but that's a legit, no kidding, four-wheel drive, high clearance. You got to have a strong stomach. I drive it only because I want to save the time. If I had more time, I would not drive it because it is a little scary for the people that are uninitiated in what it's like to drive those mountain passes in the San Juans. But the easy highway drive from Silverton to Chapman is less than 2.5 hours. And it's two-wheel drive rental car all the way to the town of Ophir. You don't have to worry about a thing. You can park right there and then hike in that last 2 miles.
Awesome. Now as we leave Chapman, we head around the course. We're going to find ourselves a few hours later coming into Animas Forks. And Julie, what should runners expect to see this year as they arrive at Animas?
That is a really good question. So this is the 3rd year we've been at Animas, the 2nd time this direction, and it's still very much a work in progress. But first of all, we have all of the things, all of the food options. We are open for 18 hours, being kind of right in the middle. We start to see runners 4:30 in the afternoon, and we will see runners through 10:30 in the morning on Saturday morning. So we will have brisket, and we will have eggs, and we will have hash browns, hot chocolate. This year we will have coffee for crew as well as folks come out there. Something else that we're working on is having crew designated tents. So you were there last year, and you know that it can get a little crowded. Animas Forks is located at an old mining town site, Animas Forks, and it is located at 11,200 feet. It is not for the faint of heart. I live at 10,300 feet in Leadville, and so I am lucky to be acclimated, but it can be a lot for people. But we have all of the food options. We have menus for them. Like I said, everything from dinner to breakfast, places for crew to hang out. What's really important for runners to know to inform their crew, because we love the crew out at Animas, is that you have to dress for winter. You have to dress for cold. It will be most of those runners are going to come in the dark, and we can have all kinds of variable conditions there. We have had full-on thunderstorms and pouring rain, and we have had mild conditions, and everybody's running around in a sweatshirt at 4:00 in the morning. But we'll have drop bags there. It's a place where you can pick up a pacer. We just want to accommodate everybody there. We have cots if you need to take a nap. Concierge service, as Bill said, every runner is assigned a volunteer that will take care of them from the minute they walk in to the minute they walk out, and then a whole team behind them. We have a full kitchen there. We have hot foods, and so it's a really wonderful place. It's a really special place. Hopefully we'll have a clear night and you'll see all the stars as you start to head up that 14,000 foot peak on the way out.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And there's a part of me I'm entered in the run this year, and so there's a part of me that's sad that I won't get to spend too much time there. But there's a bigger part of me that says, if you think I've spent too much time there, kick my butt out. So would you say you need to have, going back to the question that the person had earlier, would you say that you should have a 4-wheel drive to get up to Animas?
Not necessarily. I personally think clearance is a little bit better. I have a Silverado and I can get up there in 2-wheel drive. I have that clearance. One of the things that is really important, and this actually happened to one of our volunteers last year, is that you might want to lower your tire pressure. Those crews that are coming out, those rocks on the road are very pointy. And again, a lot of those crew are going to be driving out in the middle of the night, and you're only going to have your headlamps on your vehicles to guide you, and it's really easy to run over a rock. So if you have a portable air station, or maybe Deanne can talk about, is there anywhere in town where they might be able to put some more tire pressure in their vehicles coming out to Animas? It could save your tires for sure. And but yeah, just take your time. The first few miles leaving Silverton to get to Animas, well graded dirt road, but the last 3-4 miles is a very bumpy, rocky, narrow, exposed, even though you probably won't be able to tell in the dark. But if you just take your time, I say 30 to 45 minutes to get out there. And then another key point is that last mile and a half or so, it's going to be runners are going to be coming towards the traffic that is approaching the aid station. And obviously they will have their headlamps on, but just to take your time, slow down, let them pass. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. So we leave the amazing uh, wild AF aid station, head up over the 14er, down into Sherman, and then back up, and eventually we find ourselves with Kim at Pole Creek. Tell us what runners can expect when they get there.
Hi there. So as you've left Sherman and you'll be dropping into Pole Creek, the first thing we try and do is make a lot of noise. Our aid station is open for almost 24 hours, and so sometimes it'll be daylight, sometimes it'll be nighttime. So you might be able to see the lights, you might not, but we want to make noise so that it's easy to find us. This is an area where the trail has changed. I think it was a couple years ago, and so we want to make sure you come where the trail's supposed to be. And then another thing that's changed is a couple years ago, there was when the aid station's up on the hill, there was a gust of wind that came that if someone had been in the wrong place, they legitimately would have been killed. And so now we're down low rather than up high. Now last year we did go up high because we couldn't get over Stony Pass because of the weather. So we're a pack and aid station, and so we have plan A, plan B, plan C. And when we get there, we do the best we can. But when you get, the number one thing is we want you to be able to find us right away because we know it's mile 80, so you can hear us. Now, again, we're a pack and aid station, so there's no crew, there's no media, there's no drop bags. Our number one concern when you come in is getting you what you need and getting you on your way. We may or may not be able to figure out something for you to sit on. But again, if you're getting in and getting on your way, because it's mile 80, we want you to keep on going. So if you find something to sit on, I know sometimes people might be changing into pants if it's getting colder and things like that. So we do our very best to find some way to set you up like that, but I wouldn't guarantee it. We try to get some kind of a shelter if it's raining, but again, we can't guarantee that either. In terms of staying warm, we now pack in the jet boils, so we're always boiling hot water. So we're making different kinds of noodles or soups or teas, whatever that you want from that. But when you and another thing we're doing again, pack in is we start filtering water as soon as we get there. We have a team assigned to that, and that's all they do is filter water, because we want to make sure when you get in, we can fill up your flask with whatever you want. We'll have tailwind when you get in there, and then being mile 80, the number where you're coming in and oftentimes aren't talking a lot, and again, we want to get you on your way. We are encouraging you. We will, rather than presenting you maybe with a big menu, we have food sitting out so you can maybe point or grab or things like that. We might ask you, do you want something salty? Do you want something sweet, rather than kind of overwhelming your oxygen deprived brain? We will have a couple of our specialties. So of course we'll show you those and ask you if you want those. And I think that's kind of everything that's special about ours. And again, we just want to, we're a no drop either. So you got to keep going. So we do everything we can to keep it going.
I think every aid station intends to be a no drop aid station, but you really mean it. You like, sorry, you're out of luck. You got to keep going.
Yep.
So okay. So I can't drop at Pole Creek. What if there's a really bad? I've heard there's some really bad storms out there sometimes during Hardrock. If I happen to be in your area and there's a really bad storm, do you have a place where I can hide?
Yeah, good question. We do pack in an extra tent so that not only for storms, but also for if there's some kind of an injury or if something comes up, we do have an extra tent and blankets and things like that we can put you to take care of you medically. And then one interesting thing with that area, a challenge we have as the aid station, is there's no trees around there. It's bushes everywhere. So that's the challenge with trying to put up the tarps or things like that. We try and find something to do at tarp to either get you in the shade or out of the rain. Worst case, we can put up the tent in there. And we have had it was actually a crew member that we did walk out one time. So there is another way to go where we walk out Pole Creek and then take you over Stony Pass. So there is a way. We've done that before. But again, we have. I love it when new crew come on who haven't done kind of the ultras and they see what someone looks like at mile 80 and they're so concerned. And I'm like, no, they're doing great. So.
Yeah. We all look rough at times, and mile 80 is one of those spots when people are gonna look rough. We're gonna look great though when we get back to Silverton and we get to that finish area. Coming back to Deanne in Silverton, we talked about what to expect when runners arrive in Silverton and lodging. We heard all that. Are there things that you want Hard Rockers and their crew to be aware of during or after the run?
Absolutely. So some of the amenities that we do have, right? We do have a grocery store. We have a hardware store where you can have packages shipped. So if you forgot something or don't want to carry something, just contact Silverton Hardware Store and arrange for them to receive your package. We have the 2 gas stations. We have a credit card water dispenser machine down at the visitor center that you could either fill up your jug or your camper. If you do have a camper or a bigger need for water, you will have to bring your own connection hose. We now have a gorgeous new park, a facility, town of Silverton, called Anisi Park. That is on the corner of 12th and Blair. That's also right where the train comes in. So that's kind of fun, like a mini cruise ship. But within Anisi Park, we will now have paid showers. That's always one of the number one things that we get asked. So there will be a paid shower. There's also a little information center there. And there is also the new Parks and Recs Director, Sarah Fridin's office. And she is a huge supporter of Hardrock 100. I know she's watching. I want to give her a shout out. She wants to be involved. We're going to introduce her to the family at the opening big ceremony, which is always fun. I try and bring as many Silverton town staff and locals to come join you guys, just see the immense energy that is kind of in that kickoff meeting. And I guess one bit of advice I really want to give everyone, and it's not just about Silverton, it's when you hit all of these mountain towns, is once you are a part of the Hardrock family, whether you are a runner, you're a crew member, you're a volunteer, or you're even a family member, is you're now an ambassador for Hardrock, right? And so as you enter all these communities, make sure people know that when you go out to dinner or you're booking a hotel, make sure they know you're part of that family. It is a huge financial impact for all of us, but it's not just about finances. You're not only an ambassador for Hard Rock 100, you're an ambassador for the sport. In being the executive director of Visit Silverton for the last 10 years, I always say this in this meeting, I rarely meet an angry runner. I think they're some of the most cool, gentle people that I've ever met. We actually have so many Hard Rock 100 folks just even who have moved to our community because of this event. And it just adds a layer to our community that no other event that we have has. So I guess the big takeaway is spread the love. Make sure they know why you're in all of our communities. Make sure they understand your impact. It's a two-way street, right? Like understanding you're entering communities, but also being that really good ambassador and just teaching your crew to also be ambassadors, not only for the sport, but definitely for the family. And just pre-plan, go to, visit Ouray's website, visit Silverton's socials, tag us, let us all share content. Like, let's celebrate this event in the sport and all of you. And so just be very mindful partners. And again, ambassadors, just be good ambassadors for the family.
Well said. Well said. When everything opens up for Hard Rock, there will be lots of opportunities for runners, family, friends, crew, pacers to buy things that have got this logo on it. So you just heard it. You have to buy as much stuff as you can with this logo on it, so that you can wear every day. You can wear something with Hard Rock on it and share that. But before that opens, before the store opens for Hard Rock, there are lots of places in Silverton that you can buy merchandise that has the Silverton name on it. And there are lots of places in Ouray where you can buy stuff that says Ouray. So buy some swag that represents the San Juan, so that people will know that you're here and you're happy to be here. I want to go back over to the other beautiful town again on the other side of Red Mountain Pass. Kaylee, you talked a minute ago. You talked about getting into that hot springs pool after Hard Rock. Or I guess I talked about it because that's my plan. But are there other things that you want runners and crew and family to know about during Hard Rock as it's progressing or afterwards?
Absolutely. Well, there's so much to do. As far as family goes, one place to mention is the Smokehouse, which is a part of the Ouray Riverside Resort. They actually offer for kids 12 and under free meals. So whether it's breakfast or dinner, they're very, very much family oriented, and that's a really great place to keep in mind. They also have the ability for filling up your water tanks as well as a dump station and trash. So Ouray Riverside Resort is a great amenity. If you've never stayed there, they do have cabins, luxury cabins, hotel, as well as RV lodging sites. And then we also have downtown tons of restaurants. We do have most restaurants don't accept reservations. So we have a do Ouray right principle is just be patient, be kind, because as Dan mentioned and alluded to earlier, July is very busy. If you've never visited the mountain destinations in the summertime, it can be a lot of people. But just be patient and understand that there might be a wait, there might not. We also have tons of spa services. First thing I'd want to do is go get my legs massaged, and I'm not even running. And we have a great pulsed high altitude therapy, and she uses this electronic technology. You lay on this table, and it's supposed to help rejuvenate your body. So pamper yourself in addition to the hot springs. And if you have time before or after, if you're going to be sticking around the mountain communities, make sure to take advantage. We have hiking trails. You probably are over the hiking trails, but we have Jeep tours. We have 3 Via Ferratas in town. Uh, and And then too is that if you're need to commute between Silverton and Ouray, there are a lot of shuttle services available that those are listed on visitouray.com. I'm sure Visit Silverton has options as well. But if you don't have a car for some reason, or you're needing to do just quick day trips between the two towns, definitely in advance look at doing a shuttle service. And yeah, just enjoy lodging if you plan on sticking around. Same thing as Dan said. July is busy, plan ahead, and just enjoy the town, enjoy the mountain views, be prepared for you never know if it's going to rain or not in the afternoons come mid July. So just be prepared and know before you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And think about those pampering yourself. Think about the spouse that supported you through all of the training, and the the crew that was out there and stayed up late all night for 2 nights while you were having fun in the mountains, running around all over the place. Think about pampering them a little bit too. Make sure you go out to one of these nice restaurants in one of these towns. Make sure you maybe think about those massages and things like that as well for them. For them, I'm saying this hoping that my crew is not paying attention too much because I take a big crew out there. I want to ask for the aid stations. I think this is important because you guys have got a lot of experience here in this group. And Bill, I'm wondering, is there any mistake, any common thing that you have seen runners do coming into your aid station that you would like to give them a warning, or just some advice for them, that just something you've seen in your years of being out there at Chapman?
Yeah, I think, Chris, that one of the main things that jumps to mind right away in this direction, mile 18, is, take your time when you're at Chapman. It's still early in the race. You still might be relatively fresh. The couple of climbs that you've done aren't overtaxing compared to the rest of the course. So take your time. I mean, we've had runners take off without their poles because they left their poles and they get a mile down the road and guess what? Who's going back that mile to get their poles? So just take your time. I mean, we as the volunteers will do our best. I've got a checklist for all the people. Hey, don't let anyone leave unless they're full of water, got their poles, have calories, yada, yada, yada. However, I do see the runners rushing through there because it's early and they want to get moving and they know the lion's share of the course is still ahead of them. So just take your time. A few extra minutes could mean the difference of coming back a mile to get your poles that you left.
Yeah, that's really good. That's idea. Really good idea. I'm sure I've left stuff and I've forgotten about it. But that definitely happens. Julie, at Animas, this is a spot where the toughest climb, the highest point anyway, is still ahead, but the runners have gone more than halfway. It's middle of the night, or maybe later. Maybe it's already, the sun has already come up. Are there any things that you have seen that have helped your crew, your aid station volunteers? Is there anything that you can think of that has helped them get the runners through and not drop there? Because I worry that that's a spot where a lot of people are going to be hurting and may not continue.
Yeah, I slightly alluded to this earlier. So we are at high elevation, but also most of Hardrock is at high elevation. And a lot of folks, runners come in, and they are experiencing things and they don't know what to attribute it to. And some of that is altitude sickness, dehydration. Hydrate. Everybody hydrate. It's really important. Drinking water is the easiest thing. But an upset stomach, it could be a number of things, but again, they could kind of take their time a little bit depending on when they come in to Animas. But we have a great crew of volunteers at Animas. We have a full medical team there as well, to try to evaluate. You saw this last year. People decided that I was done, but let's get you some hot soup. Let's look at your feet. Let's get you warmed up and give you a pep talk. And before we knew it, they were on their way. We turned around and they were gone. And then we saw them kissing the rock. And So I think just kind of being aware, being positive, keeping their mind off of the run. Anything else that you can talk about with them? Have you experienced Silverton? How was Ouray? Like, how was the drive here? How was your flight? Like anything that can kind of get their mind off of the fact that they still have 40 miles of the San Juans in front of them.
Very good advice. Very good advice. And if you would, for just a second, talk just a little bit more about that concierge service. What does that look like? If I come in as a runner, what is that? What am I actually going to see? What am I going to experience?
So you're going to come in, you're going to have the timing tent right there. Somebody's going to check you in. You might have your crew there too. Your drop bag's going to be right there. And a volunteer is going to be there immediately to greet you and walk you past the food. They're going to ask you, do you have a crew? Do you have a drop bag? Kind of trying to get an idea of what their mindset is. Are they dehydrated? Do they, need salt? Do they need medical attention? And they will take them if they're hungry. Let's walk by the food. Let's see what we have. Do you have any dietary restrictions? And this is something else too that you can reach out early. You're gluten-free, you're vegan, all of these aid stations, we all have options for all kinds of diets. And so you can reach out to Brad Bishop and let him know, and then he'll let us know at the aid stations, and we will see your bib number and be like, okay, we know, this, but we will get you to a chair. If you have shoes and fresh socks in your drop bag, you don't have a crew member with you, we'll help you through all of those steps. We have volunteers who love to take care of blisters and wrap your feet and dry your feet. If it's wet out there, we'll make sure that we do as much as we can to get you on the right way, make sure your headlamp is working, you have fresh batteries, but they will tell you all of the food that they have. You won't have to do anything. And really, if you have crew as well, that crew member or your pacer can sit in there with you, and they can, we want to take on the brunt of that and let you guys connect, and we'll get the food for you. And you get that plate of brisket. That's not what you want. We'll get you a plate of eggs. We want to make sure you're eating. You need to eat. That's a really key point in the race. We see a lot of people coming in with stomach issues, and making sure that they have the proper nutrition and calories while they're there, but also on their way out. We can send that on with you.
Neat.
I could
neat.
add on to what Julie just said really quick. I
Please,
experienced that firsthand myself at Animas one year pacing, and I came in there in the middle of the night. I was wrecked just from pacing from Ouray, and they took care of me there as a pacer, just as if I was a runner. So for the runners out there listening, let your pacers know that, hey, take advantage of that opportunity, because if they are going to pass you or pace you up over handies next after leaving Julie, those pacers need to be in good shape too. So just an opportunity for the pacers to take care of themselves, because that can be very important as well. So thanks, Julie. Personal thanks for the care you took care of me that year.
Yeah, and to add on to that, anywhere where you come in to an aid station with a pacer, we take care of that pacer as much as we take care of the runner. Feeding them, we have plenty of food for those pacers, hydration, all of the things. Do not be afraid to ask for things as a pacer. We want you to make sure that your runner is successful. Absolutely.
Yeah. I coach a number of runners and ultra runners, and a lot of them have paced at ultras as well. And I try to remind them, when you're pacing, take care of yourself as if you were running the ultra as well. Yes, you're there for the runner, but you're no good to the runner if you are, falling out because you're dehydrated, or, stumbling over things because you're not paying attention to your own needs. So that's super important. I'm glad that you guys have emphasized that the aid stations are there to take care of everybody. Now, for Pole Creek, Kim, that's not a place where you're going to have pacers trading out, but it is late in the race in this direction, late in the run in this direction. So you're going to have pacers coming through. Is there anything else unique or that runners need to be cautious about as they come into Pole Creek?
Yeah, so that was a great question. So I was scratching out a few notes here. And so some of the things that we've seen in the past when we're at mile 80 is people are the runners are getting tired and they're not thinking as clearly, might not be making the best decisions. And so, it's funny, we were just talking about pacers because every pacer and their runner has a different relationship. And so, so listening to their pacer, letting their pacer help them, and yes, fill up your flask. Oh, I'll be fine. No, we really want to have you full of the hydration, the tailwind, or whatever it is you're drinking. We want that. Let your pacer help you with that. But also something with Pole Creek, because the course changed a couple years ago. There's no longer a shortcut, which kept your feet pretty dry. When you're coming through Pole Creek, this direction, first you're going through one of the forks. So you depending on the year, you might be able to jump on some rocks, or you might just step through it and it's not too bad. And then you're going to find us. But when you're heading back up that hill, you've got all the forks have come together, and that's a wide, deep. It can be really mucky on the sides. So we definitely echoing some of the other, helping you with your feet and all that. But just know, in half a mile, you're stepping right through some really knee deep water. So just be prepared for that. Going in and out of Pole Creek, you will have the wetness on your feet. And then the last thing is that we'll always offer is if they don't want to, because we don't really have places to sit. Sometimes we do, but offer them food to go. We can put it in a bag if we have that. If they have something in a cup or just in their hand, some of the items are wrapped. And so if you're not sure, take a couple of them. We'd rather you have it than be out there in 3 miles and wish you had it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We've gotten a question for the cities having to do with camping. Where would be getting some advice for Silverton and Ouray, best place for RV camping?
So up here in Silverton, we have 3 RV parks that are actually right within our town limits. We also have the luxury of having 87% federal lands. So through the U.S. Forest Service, South Mineral is a very popular place to go, along the BLM land on Alpine Loop. But one kind of stop shop, if you don't plan on camping within town, is San Juan Mountain Association. So sjma.org. They kind of work for both BLM and Forest Service being ambassadors. So they have really good options and tricks to camping in the forest. As far as in town, go to silvertoncolorado.com so that you can see all the types of lodging. But we kind of offer all amenities within town limits and as well as within our county.
Great, great. And for Ouray?
And for Ouray, I already mentioned Ouray Riverside Resort is a great option in town. And then we also have the 4J 1+1+1 campground. Those are both in town. I would highly recommend early reservations. Like I said, July is super busy. But as far as other paid options that you could do reservation systems with is the amphitheater campground, depending on how big your RV or camper is. And then Angel Creek and Thistledown, which is up Camp Bird Road. Beautiful spots. It's, I believe, first come, first serve on Thistledown. So you may get it, you may not, but otherwise, definitely check out the San Juan Mountain Association page as well.
Yeah, great, great. And then back to the aid station, folks, for a second. Any of you feel free to jump in. Some folks are asking about what sort of medical assistance, what type of medical stuff. You talked about blisters, but if there are other medical issues, what sort of help can people expect at these aid stations?
Yeah, Chris, I'll chime in on that. So, and then my additional job as volunteer coordinator, it's very important for us to have medical points of contact assigned to each and every aid station. So there will be medically trained people there wherever we can have them. So usually what that means is they'll check you for dehydration. They've got a medical kit with them. So, in extreme situations, we'll have you in a sleeping bag on a cot in a warm tent with getting your vitals checked by the medical staff. and they'll be in constant contact via ham radio to Silverton headquarters with the medical staff there at headquarters. So it's pretty good care, I would say. And of course, all the little things, scrapes, cuts, you go, take a header off one of the rock descents, we'll clean you up, and the medical staff will help with that. So yeah, it's as simple as blister and feet care, but as extreme as, hey, we're on the radio with the doctor back in Silverton. What do we have to do if this is an emergency or not?
And I might chime in because we are in the backcountry. A number of us, including myself, are National Ski Patrol, and so we come with that training. But we do keep someone dedicated just to any kind of medical, anything that might be going on, because we obviously don't want to be distracted with that as aid station captains. And so that's and we've dealt with issues out there before, and yeah, we always get a nice big heavy kit that we get to carry out there too. So we're ready for you.
Yeah. Anything to add, Julie?
No, I think Bill did pretty good. In case of a severe emergency, it's never happened in my tenure with Hardrock, but we do have a heli landing zone, in case of a severe emergency at Animas.
Yeah. We don't ever, I mean, as cool as that would be, we don't ever want to have to do that. So let's not make that happen. I'm again, I am so grateful to our panelists. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for being on here tonight, but also for being so supportive of the Hard Rock Run. I think that every hard rocker who's ever been out there knows that this is not something that you could do on your own. You've got to have a community around you. And it starts at home with the people that are back there encouraging us to get out and train, but it continues when we get out to the San Juans, and we need those folks at the aid stations to encourage us, but also to feed us and to make sure that we don't forget our poles. And we need the welcoming neighbors and locals of the communities in Silverton and in Ouray and in Lake City, of course, and in Telluride. And so I'm just super, super grateful to all of you. Is there anything else before, because we're coming up on our hour, is there anything else that any of you wanted to make sure that you let our listeners know before we wrap it up for the evening?
I'll just give a quick shout out that, we're all very thankful for you guys coming into our community, and just be good partners with us. Be mindful of speed limits. Be mindful of speed limits when you're trying to get to the aid stations, right? Or meeting your runner. Tag Visit Ouray, Visit Silverton on your socials. Like, let's all collaborate and be ambassadors, but just kind of join our communities as much and as conscientiously as you can.
And then on Visit Ouray's side too, is if you want more information and would like something sent to you, just send an email to info@visitouray.com, and we'll have our visitor center staff be happy to send you any information that you have questions on before you get here.
Aid station folks, anything to add?
I just want to say that all of us that are out there volunteering, we are invested in every single runner coming out to do this run, and we are cheering for everybody, and we are so excited for July.
Well, I'm excited for July as well. I'll just say one last thing, which is Hard Rockers and crew and Pacers, do what you can to be kind to all the volunteers that are out there. They're trying their best. They're there to help you. And Hard Rock Weekend, everybody's a little sleep deprived. Everybody's a little tired, but everybody's doing their best. So let's approach each other with some grace and some understanding and some kindness, which is the way that we should treat everybody every day. But let's try to remember that when we all get out to the San Juans. I hope that folks that are watching have gotten their questions answered. If they have other questions, feel free to send them in through the Hard Rock website, and make sure that you are listening to the Hard Talk podcast. We're very proud of the podcast. We hope that we're bringing you some interesting guests to listen to. And if you have suggestions or questions for future guests, please feel free to send them in. I say it on every episode of that podcast, and I'm going to say it now. Silverton, Colorado is where Hard Rockers belong in the summer. I'm sorry, Ouray, it's still my favorite place, but Silverton, Colorado is where Hard Rockers belong in the summer. So make sure you're heading out to the San Juans, and we'll see you in Silverton.